Hi, I'm Melisa Uchida, founder of the Healthy Human Project and the Strength in Stillness Method. Today, I want to talk to you about becoming whole again. Not perfect, not healed in the way society defines it, but whole, human, awake, and truly alive. This is the heart of the Healthy Human Project. 5 pillars of human health that help us reclaim our natural state of well-being. You're not just a body. You're a whole, multi-dimensional being. The Healthy Human Project is built around 5 pillars of wholeness. Mind, that's the thoughts that you think. Body, that's how you move and fuel and care for your physical vessel. Spirit, the part of you that knows truth without needing proof. And energy, the invisible life force that's fueling it all. And our environment, what surrounds and influences you every day. When we live in balance across these 5 domains, we begin to remember who we are at our essence. And as we integrate these different parts of ourselves, we realized we're not just here to survive, but we're actually here to truly thrive. You are not just flesh and bone. Your invisible brilliance includes your mind, your energy, and your soul. The energy can be measured in biofield. So when you learn to regulate your nervous system, you train the mind and you move the body consciously through the world, something extraordinary happens. Your soul begins to emerge. That's the unity of yoga. It's not just about flexibility and strength or the physical aspects of the posture, but it's the union of the body, mind, and spirit. Now, most modern wellness models ignore this vital truth that we are energy. Energy is not woo-woo, it's science. In Sanskrit, we call it prana. In Chinese medicine, it's called qi. In science, it's called electromagnetic energy or biofield. Thoughts carry an electric charge. Emotions carry a magnetic field. And together they form your energetic signature. This is your state of being. How you think, how you feel, how you interpret life events has to do with your state of being. Everything is then perceived through a certain lens. So if I put on these glasses, the lens with which I see is now different than it was without them. So one is a little crisper, one is a little blurrier, but it's a little bit different. In the same way, we put on a lens of gratitude and we will experience life through the lens of gratitude. If we put on a lens of irritability or not enoughness or competition or jealousy, we experience life that way. That's our perspective. And it has to do with all the senses. It literally is like putting on filters or lenses through how we perceive all of this information. It shapes how you experience life. Now we know life can feel like heaven or it can feel like hell, based on the lenses that we're wearing at any particular time. And the lens is shaped by where we choose to place our attention and what our state of being is. So you receive billions of pieces of information every single second, but your brain can't filter all of that. So it filters through one system called the RAS, the reticular activating system. And this system decides what you'll notice, what parts of those billions of information you're actually going to pay attention to based on what you believe, on your expectations, on your perceived needs, your fears, and your priorities. And this is why what you focus on grows. So when you're scanning the environment and you're looking for danger, you're not going to see the beauty. Have you noticed that? I can walk past the same thing and all of a sudden 3 years later go, I never noticed the colors of those flowers. I never noticed the shape of the leaves of these trees. We don't notice certain things because we're not paying attention to them. Now, when you practice focusing on gratitude and possibility, your whole world changes. But here's the thing. Most of us have forgotten that we even have a choice as to where we place our attention. And we allow negative experiences, thoughts, feelings, reactions, gut impulses to hook our attention, and sometimes we get stuck rehashing the same negative experience over and over and over because we're telling ourselves the story, or we're telling someone else the story over and over and over. I noticed this in my own healing journey where I went a while where I just stopped talking. I didn't talk to very many people. I was in such deep grief and I was doing so much inner work. I couldn't talk to anyone. I didn't want to. And I noticed that even if I didn't talk what I normally would have talked to someone about, If just a few days went by, it was no longer an issue. It already would have worked through. And if I had brought up that complaint or if I wanted to rehash it within a week, it was like old news. So if I would talk to that person, they would actually pull me backwards into the problem rather than allowing myself to move forward into the who I am becoming. Have you ever noticed too how discontent you feel when your body is one place doing one thing and your mind is another place doing another thing? That disconnect really leads to being pulled apart in different directions. And I especially notice this as a single mom, a teacher, a business owner, and through my own mindfulness practice. The moments I feel the most irritable, the most frustrated, they're often the times when I'm trying to be in two places at once. Either the body, mind are in conflict, or the mind is trying to be in too many different places at one time. Yoga teaches us to bring the body and mind to the same place at the same time, focusing on the same thing. That is presence. That is union. That is the yoga practice. But it takes training. And just like building a muscle in the gym, we build focus and awareness. One breath, one vinyasa, one moment at a time. And here's what I've learned. Your prana, your life force, is precious. It is your most precious resource. Where your energy and your attention go is way more valuable than gold. And yet it's being leaked all day long. Things that drain prana, physical illness or discomfort, sleep deprivation, negative talking, gossiping, arguing, complaining, and drama, emotional reactivity, self-righteousness, overstimulation, and chronic distraction. Things that build prana: silence, intentional breathing, clean food, clean water, clean thoughts, clean spaces, presence in the moment, spiritual practice, soul-aligned service, and being in nature. And laughter. This is often why yogis need less sleep. They don't actually waste their energy in endless resistance of what is, or with this fractionalized mind ping-ponging all over the place. Instead, yogis learn to train their attention and their energy wisely. We harness it in and we use it specifically for our dharma, for our purpose, and whatever that focus is at a particular time in your life. But instead of like oozing it out everywhere, we bring it in and we say, I know where my energy is going and I choose to direct it toward my dharma. So maybe you're tired or disconnected or struggling to be present. Me too sometimes. But we're not broken. We're whole and we're remembering who we are. The Healthy Human Project isn't just a method, it's a movement. It's bringing us back to presence, back to power, and back to the truth of who you are. If you're ready to remember your wholeness, you're ready to start training or continue training your body and your mind to move together as one. You're ready to live with more energy, more clarity, more joy, more connectedness, more presence in your relationships with yourself and with those you love. Then come and practice with me. Strength and Stillness, the Healthy Human Project, or my 300-hour yoga teacher training. We're not here to chase perfection. We're here to live fully, to live our best lives, and to embrace our most authentic selves. I love you. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe and breathe. Until I see you again. Ahui ho.